sound check now to make sure it's.
Yeah,
I don't want people all to think that it's starting because I press play. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I can. Thanks very much. Thank you. I think we're all good for the L sound. Anyway, it sounded like it was a.
I thought we were going to mount your own. It turned out it's guys. For some reason, I'm going to try and even though I looked at the OIP stuff, I saw mount your own.
Yeah, it's just the way in your head.
You ready?
Well, all I do is let people know the service is on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to get things started now, okay? Thank you so much. I know from what I've been told that Audrey would have loved that. Sorry about the feedback there. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to you all. If anybody's got any ideas how to fix that, let me know. Again, Audrey would have loved that too. Technology, don't you just love it? Panic over. So good afternoon again. Warm welcome to you all, and for everybody who's watching, I believe this is being broadcast to I don't know where. We're gathered here, of course, to bid farewell and to celebrate the life of Audrey Elliott. So I'm going to start by offering my sincere sympathy to Audrey's family at this very difficult time. And to everyone else here today and watching from wherever you may be, I'd like to thank you all for your support here today. Now, speaking of family, that song that we heard, no, not the Bob Marley one, the opening song, Sweet 16, this was especially chosen as the opening because I understand and I've been told that Audrey's father used to sing that song to her and her brother Robert and her sisters Jean and Yvonne. So that's why it's quite special, isn't it? I'm not quite sure how he would have done with Three Little Birds. Without doubt, there is divilment. That's the word that keeps coming back to me. I'm sorry for getting off the script here, but the word divilment keeps coming back to me. And she's up there. She's been a divil, wrecking our technology. Without doubt, there is always immense sadness, of course, when somebody close to us dies. And this person whose life, well, was so completely interwoven in our lives has left us, and we're left with that great void. But even with all the sadness and the natural outpourings of grief and that awful sense of loss, it is important to take the opportunity, I believe, to celebrate a life so wonderfully lived. So we're here today to honour and to say goodbye to Audrey, and it's fitting that we pay tribute to her and make this a real celebration of her life. And we will try our best to achieve that, both here and later on in Glasnevin. I'll introduce myself briefly. My name is Billy Hutchinson. I recognise some faces here. And I was asked in my capacity as a humanist celebrant accredited by the Humanist Association of Ireland to assist with this celebration ceremony for Audrey today. Humanism is a view of life that combines reason with compassion. It's based on a concern for humanity in general and for human individuals in particular. It is for people who base their interpretation of the existence on the evidence of the natural world and its evolution. It's a very short little piece about what humanism is. Now, as I said, following this ceremony here in Blanchardstown, in Cunninghams and Blanchardstown, we're going to bring Audrey to Glasnevin Crematorium for the final send-off, final section, you could say, of this ceremony, where we'll say a few words. That's due to commence at 2:30. Now, I did meet Audrey some years ago, in happier times, of course. That was at Anne and Sean's wedding. That's going back a while now, isn't it? And it was lovely to have met her there. So it's nice to have been able to say, I met Audrey. Now, this has been a difficult time for all those who knew Audrey. Of course it has. Her children, Anne, Mary, Jim, their father, Eddie, her brother, Robert, and sisters, Jean and Yvonne. Also, her many, many friends over the years in Limerick, and her time in Aer Lingus, locally here, and across the pond in Boston. And this time has been made especially difficult considering the recent weather and the waiting time to get all together here today and share memories of her. So we've come here today, as I repeat again, to celebrate Audrey's life. I'm told that most recently Audrey lived just a stone's throw away from here, literally across the road in Blanchardstown village. So it's fitting that we're here today. Before that, she lived nearby in Laurel Lodge, I understand. The family shared some things with me about Audrey, which I have the joy of relaying to you now. I've come to understand that Audrey would have found the fuss of the past week with blizzards, snow drifts, orange alerts, red alerts, you name it, alerts, weather reports. She would have found the fuss for her day of her ceremony was supposed to be, of course, cancelled, postponed, reset, changed. Ceremony planning changes and challenges, there were many. All for her funeral. She would have found it quite amusing. So it was kind of appropriate in a way of all those challenges and changes. Now, in a text I got from Anne, who was my point of contact through all this, helping me prepare together, she said in the text, and replying to me on something, I'll just read, knowing Audrey, I bet she'd be laughing her head off about it all. So as we reflect upon this recent weather storm that we've had, I believe, I am told, it has brought up many memories for Audrey's family and friends, including that big snow everybody was talking about in 1982, when Audrey, Eddie, and lots of their friends in Aer Lingus were stranded, apparently, at the airport overnight. Now, I'm sure there are some very funny stories about that time. None have been shared with me, so I'm hoping that maybe later somebody will share some with us. Audrey, of course, was a grandmother to 6 wonderful grandchildren. I think that might be one over there. They were Penny, Scott, Rion, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Dara, Lena, Killian. She was very fond of these grandchildren. I can see you here and there scattered throughout the congregation. And like many grandmothers, I'm told that she loved spoiling them. It's a grandmother's entitlement to do that. Sneaking sweet treats, so I'm told, to her grandchildren, unbeknownst to their parents. So don't tell them. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to have some people that knew Audrey, of course, important people, to read for us. I'm going to ask Mary if she'd like to come up.
Thank you all for coming today. It's a testament to Audrey how many people came to say goodbye and to celebrate her life. I know most of you knew Audrey very well. She was due to turn 70 this year, and throughout her life, she gained many loyal friends that she really valued. We have people watching us today via video link from Boston, San Francisco, Bristol, France, and Australia. I would like to say a quick hello and thank you for taking the time to remember Audrey with us today. Audrey was brought up in Newcastle West, County Limerick, with her 2 sisters, Yvonne, Jean, and her brother Robert. She was a very bright student. Her career in Aer Lingus, which lasted 35 years, was in the unique institution of statistics, which had very strong links to the Cat and Cage pub. While working in Aer Lingus, she met Eddie, which eventually led to marriage and Audrey's emigration from Ranelagh. Although I wasn't there, legend has it their wedding was one of a kind and very unconventional. but sure, that was Audrey all over. On the day, she wore a brown floral knee-length Karen Millen dress. She gave herself away, and she put her own feminist stamp on the ceremony. Audrey never shied away from a good hoolie. People still comment on how different that day was and the 5-day shindig that came after it. Family life followed. Having 3 children is a real challenge, but especially when that includes a set of twins. We can all imagine the madness that entailed. All 3 of us now have our own families, and we can fully appreciate the sacrifices that she made as a mother. It's a tough job, and we know she did her best for us. And we are all very grateful. Audrey was due to travel to Boston to celebrate Robert's birthday. She had a whole other group of friends in Boston who she considered her second family. She would visit them regularly. Robert and Audrey had a very close relationship. They were much more than siblings. They were much more than best friends. They were partners in crime. Unfortunately, Robert can't be here today, but alongside her friends in Boston, they are remembering her with a service of their own. Audrey will be fondly remembered by many people, especially Dad. Although their marriage ended, their friendship never did. This is a true testament to Audrey's character and is a trait I really admire and respected in her. Eddie was given the highly trusted job of being Mr. Paul's butler during her many trips to Boston. Audrey was a real animal lover, but she held a special place in her heart for cats. Mr. Paul succeeded a long line of black cats in Audrey's life. He quickly grew accustomed to his diet of turkey on the bone and cat milk served at room temperature. He is currently getting used to his new digs at my house with a slightly less affluent diet. On a more personal note, I will always remember the excitement Audrey brought to our house when she would visit. Penny and Scott would be staring out the window, waiting for Nana to pull up, and frantically checking her pockets for jelly babies before she even had time to close the front door. Anyone here that knew Audrey will have a fond memory or a funny story to tell, and that's exactly how she would like to be remembered. She was always up for a laugh, loved a bit of mischief. She truly was one of a kind. We will miss you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mary. That was really lovely. That was really lovely. Before the next reader, what the family would like to do is share in a moment of silence during which you will all have the opportunity, as you wish, to remember Audrey in your own way, with your own personal reflection perhaps, your own memory perhaps, or even perhaps, if you wish, a private prayer. This gives everyone the opportunity to remember her in their own way. So let's do that. Okay, lovely. I'd like now to invite up Audrey's other daughter, of course, Anne. She's going to read a poem for us.
This poem is called Farewell, My Friends. It was beautiful as long as it lasted, the journey of my life. I have no regrets whatsoever, save the pain I'll leave behind. At every turning of my life, I came across good friends. Friends who stood by me, even when the time raced me by. Farewell, farewell, my friends. I smile and bid you goodbye. No, shed no tears, for I need them not. If you feel sad, do think of me, for that's what I like. When you live in the hearts of those you love, remember then, you never die. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. That was really lovely. We're going to have a special piece of music now, and kindly Morris is going to do this for us. That was lovely, Morris. That was really lovely, wasn't it? That was gorgeous. Thank you so much for that. A little bit more of that later at the very end. I'm going to ask Niall now if he'll come up and read a poem for us.
This is a poem called The Dash by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that the first came her date of her birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she had spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy has been read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?
Thank you, Niall. That's a lovely poem. I like that one. So let's hear from Eddie now. Is that okay? A few memories, maybe a few thank yous. Sorry, Eddie.
Unprepared as usual. I was in another world there. I suppose, to thank you all for being here today and to send Audrey on her way. She'll be pleased you were here. I'm just looking around here like there's people from the Pigs Club, I think, the Irish Pigs Club. Just a lot of, and that's only the half of it. Statistics, Aer Lingus, you name it, you know. And today I sort of think of Audrey's parents. Bridie and Bob, and all her friends who have passed on before her, and hope that she will be reunited with them in some form. Like, her sudden death has shocked us all. It will take some time, as Robert said, to process. Audrey and I have been associated for approximately 50 years. We've been lovers, parents, separated grandparents. I'm glad to say after a long cooling off period, we had managed to become friendly again and enjoy seeing our 6 grandchildren start their journey in life. Audrey was a good and loyal friend to many. She was a very private person, a good listener, and a confidant. Audrey was like my mother Lena. She could keep a secret, and I'm quite sure she must have taken some with her. I'm not a practicing Catholic myself now, but I'd like any of you, in deference to our Christian tradition, if you wish to join me in reciting the Our Father as a kind of double entry shot for Audrey. Just in case. So I'll try and get through it. Our Father, heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Eddie. Really beautiful. So we can see from all gathered here that Audrey enjoyed her life. And she loved her family and friends. That's obvious. And her cat. Cats. And she loved her trips to see her brother. She loved having the crack and plenty of divilment. Now, while she herself may not be here, she lives on in the memories of those who knew her, of course, and loved her. And everyone here today will have a memory or a story of Audrey, I'm sure of that. So with that in mind, it will be important, I believe, to share those stories over the coming hours, days, months, years, with each other and with the family with you, to help give comfort and to keep her in our memories. Now, the family have asked me to extend an invitation to you all after our time in Glasnevin to join them afterwards in the Angler's Rest in Strawberry Beds, Chapel is it, for refreshments and of course more reminiscence in those stories about Audrey. Now that might be around 3:30-ish, it's hard to know. It'll be after Glasnevin, so it'll be approximately that time. Now, there should be a book of condolence here, I think, in Cunninghams. If you haven't already signed it, it'd be lovely if you did before you popped out. That would be really, I know the family would really appreciate that. What's his name? Killian. That's Killian, is it? He's lovely. And so this part of our ceremony for Audrey will shortly draw to a close. And we will soon bring Audrey to Glasnevin, where we'll have a few little words for the final send-off. It's been wonderful hearing those stories about her and having this special time when we reflect on her wonderful life. So before we have the closing song, which will be sung again by Morris, I was asked would I read out this poem from an unknown poet. So let me do that. Miss me, but let me go. When I come to the end of the day and the sun is set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not too long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love we once shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all part of nature's plan, a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick at heart, go to the friends we know and bury your sorrows in doing good deeds. Miss me, but let me go. So those who aren't already standing, will you all please stand for Morris to sing us out?